You might think every drug creates a brand new feeling inside you. Science shows they all flip the same survival switches your brain depends on. Caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, cannabis, and other everyday substances hijack ancient wiring in ways nobody tells you. They fake energy, steal calm, or erase caution. The real shock comes when the mask slips, and the true cost is due. Why does biology make you pay? And how deep is the bill you never see coming? Morning starts with a cup of coffee. The feeling isn't real energy. It's your brain's tiredness alarm getting silenced. Caffeine slips into the bloodstream and heads straight for adenosine receptors, which usually work like a sleepy traffic cop slowing you down. Caffeine blocks these sites, so the brain never gets the message that it's time to rest. It's like putting black tape over the check engine light on a car. The engine is still running low, but the warning is hidden. For about 5 or 6 hours, the half-life of caffeine, this mask holds. That's why an afternoon coffee can still be buzzing around your system at bedtime, making sleep harder. But when the tape falls off, all the tiredness you ignored comes flooding back. That's the crash. It's not extra exhaustion, just the real signal returning all at once. Now imagine stepping outside for a smoke break. Nicotine works on a different circuit. The first cigarette of the day fits like a key in the brain's acetylcholine receptors, sparking a quick surge of alertness and dopamine. But the brain is fast to adapt. With every puff, it starts to desensitize those receptors, dialing down their response. Soon, the baseline drops lower than before. The brain feels uncomfortable, a little on edge, until the next cigarette. Lighting up again brings relief. Not real relaxation, but a break from the stress that nicotine itself created. It's like wearing shoes that are too tight all day, just so you can enjoy the 5 minutes of relief when you finally take them off. The craving can come back in as little as an hour, driving the next cycle. The more this loop repeats, the more the brain learns to expect it, and the tighter those shoes start to feel. Both caffeine and nicotine are experts at tricking the system. They don't add anything new. They just block, mask, or create signals that keep you chasing the next fix. The real engine, the real discomfort, is always there under the surface, waiting for the mask to slip or the shoes to come off. Alcohol steps in like a gentle foot on the brain's brake pedal. The first sip travels through the bloodstream and heads straight for the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that helps you weigh consequences, hold back impulses, and make careful decisions. Alcohol does not erase those thoughts. It just turns down the volume, as if someone is slowly dimming the lights in a busy room. The world feels softer, worries seem to fade, and the usual internal voice that says maybe do not do that grows quiet. That is why people often feel more relaxed, more talkative, even a little bolder after a drink. But this borrowed calm comes at a price. As the effects wear off, the brain scrambles to turn the lights back up, often overshooting into a state of restlessness or anxiety. The sense of ease from the night before is paid back with interest, sometimes called the hangover or rebound anxiety. Cannabis works differently. THC, the active ingredient, slips into the brain's cannabinoid receptors, especially in areas that keep track of time and store memories. Suddenly, the brain's internal clock starts to drag. 5 minutes can feel like an hour. Simple tasks stretch out, and the passage of time loses its usual rhythm. At the same time, the hippocampus, the memory center, struggles to hit the save button. New experiences slip away before they can be stored, like riding on water. That is why it is so easy to lose your train of thought or forget what you were just saying. For many, this slowing down feels like a break from the usual rush of daily life. Even boredom can feel comfortable. But over time, the drive to chase goals or push through discomfort can fade, replaced by a sense of satisfaction with doing nothing at all. Both alcohol and cannabis reshape perception by slowing down the brain's control centers. They do not add new feelings. They just change the pace and filter of experience. The result is a temporary sense of relief or insight, but the brain always keeps score. When the brake pedal lifts or the clock tries to catch up, the real world comes rushing back, sometimes with a heavier load than before. Cocaine doesn't just nudge the brain's reward system, it empties it in one wild spending spree. The moment cocaine hits, it blocks the brain's dopamine transporters and traps the feel-good chemicals in place. Imagine your brain's reward system as a bank account. Normally, small deposits and withdrawals keep the balance steady. With cocaine, it's like cashing out an entire month's paycheck in a single hour. The rush is intense. Energy, confidence, euphoria, all at once. But the high is short-lived. Within 30 to 90 minutes, the account is overdrawn. Dopamine levels crash, receptors are exhausted, and what is left is a heavy emptiness. The crash isn't just feeling low, it's the brain's pleasure system running on empty. That is why the hours after a binge can feel hollow, flat, or even hopeless. It's not just mood, motivation, focus, and even the ability to feel joy are drained. The brain needs days to rebuild its reserves, and during that time, even simple pleasures feel out of reach. MDMA, often called ecstasy, takes a different route but ends up in a similar place. Instead of blocking the recycling of chemicals, MDMA forces the brain to dump its entire supply of serotonin, the chemical that brings connection, empathy, and joy. Think of it as squeezing a sponge until not a single drop is left. For a few hours, the world feels open, loving, and bright. Bonds with friends feel deeper, music sounds richer, and worries fade into the background. But the brain can't keep up with that demand. Once the serotonin is spent, there is nothing left to squeeze. The next day, or even 2 days later, the Tuesday blues set in. It is a gray, empty feeling. Sometimes sadness, sometimes just a lack of color in the world. The joy sponge needs time to refill, and until it does, the brain struggles to generate any real happiness. Both cocaine and MDMA show what happens when the brain is pushed to its limits, a rapid peak followed by a deep trough. The cost of the surge is always paid back, with interest, in the days that follow. Hallucinogens like LSD and psilocybin strip away the brain's natural filter, letting in a flood of sensory information. 5-HT2A serotonin receptors open the gates, so every sound, color, and thought arrives at once. Senses blend. Music might shimmer in color. Objects pulse with life. This can feel enchanting or terrifying, depending on what is hiding in the mind. The brain's prediction system, overwhelmed by error signals, struggles to sort what matters from what is just noise. Even small worries can balloon into monsters. This is synesthesia and sensory overload, the mind's boundaries blurred. Imagine if your brain opened 100 tabs at once, every sense shouting for attention. Opioids like heroin, oxycodone, and morphine do not overwhelm the senses. They create a false sense of safety, plugging into mu-opioid receptors, the same ones endorphins use to dull pain. At first, it's warmth and relief, as if nothing can hurt you. But the brain adapts. With repeated use, it starts to treat the drug as essential. Natural painkillers shut down, and pain sensitivity rises. When opioids vanish, even the slightest discomfort feels unbearable, like being plunged into ice water without a blanket. This is hyperalgesia, pain amplified by the absence of the drug the brain now expects for survival. Imagine the brain starts to treat the drug like air, and then has to learn how to breathe again. Benzodiazepines, such as Xanax, Valium, and Ativan, force the nervous system's off switch. They supercharge GABA, the brain's main calming chemical, slowing neurons and muting anxiety, panic, even memory. Over time, the brain trims its own GABA brakes and boosts excitatory signals to compensate. If the drug is stopped abruptly, the brakes are gone. The nervous system can swing into overdrive with racing thoughts, tremors, and in severe cases, seizures. The system crashes, unable to slow itself down. Each of these drugs reveals the same truth. The brain adapts to any shortcut. Remove the filter, wrap the blanket, force the off switch. The system always fights to restore balance. The bigger the shortcut, the harsher the rebound. Every drug is a shortcut through the brain's survival system, a shortcut that biology always makes you pay back for. Today, 1 in 6 adults uses substances daily to manage energy, stress, or mood. The real question is, what is your brain charging you in return? Share your thoughts below.